Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam, and this is Talk with the Titans. Today's Titan is literally the most beautiful, most wonderful, and extraordinary Titan of them all, our sister, Zaza Ali.
Peace, King. How are you?
I am wonderful. I am absolutely wonderful. I'm happy.
Thank you.
I'm happy. I'm excited to finally have you on. You know what? I literally feel like I'm in a privileged place. We've been complaining that there is not enough men, the feminine energy to come on Talk with the Titans, and literally within the space of 1 week, we've had both Dr. Ma'at and Zaza Ali live in the studios with us. So this is just feeling incredible.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me, brother.
Definitely. So I know you've got a jam-packed show in store for us. I know you want to cover a lot of topics. Please give our audience a quick overview of the different topics that you would like to cover today.
Well, first of all, again, I want to thank you for having me on your platform, for opening up an avenue for sisters to be able to address our people. I want to send greetings of solidarity and peace to all of our family across the seas, as well as everyone listening to my voice and looking at my face. I'm really honored to be here, and I don't take it lightly that I have access to give a message to our people, and I pray within that I'm able to share something that can be enlightening. The topics that when you asked me to come up with, things that I wanted to discuss, one of them was the war on Black women. Anybody who has a question about a war on Black women is not in tune with what's taking place, particularly in the United States today. So I wanted to kind of delve into that, as well as Black male-female relationships. Why are our relationships so fractured? And I don't just mean the relationship between the intimate relationship between man and woman, but the overall aspect of the male-female relationship. Commercialization of consciousness, and I did a lecture recently in Los Angeles about this. It's in vogue now, to be conscious. However, our people are in the most disparaging condition right now than we've ever been, in my opinion. So how do those two things kind of exist at the same time? Why our children hate us? I think that's self-explanatory. And then also the science of self, which to me is the most important conversation that we can have at any time. And all of these things are going to be relative to that topic.
Great.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Could someone just mute the mic whilst I'm speaking? I know there's a feedback going on. All right. You know what? For the Titans, we've literally started. Zaza, I'm just going to quickly mute your mic because I think the feedback is really bad. I'm sorry. New mic system that's literally come in, and there is loads of feedback. So I apologize, everybody out there. For everybody who's actually tuned in right now and aren't familiar with Talk with the Titans, Talk with the Titans was birthed out of the idea that the intellectual giants of our community, our titans, should have a well-organized platform to present, discuss, and debate critical information affecting our community, proposed by you, our audience members, our community. Any topic you would like to hear, just literally message me, let me know what you would like to hear. Message me and let me know which Titans you would like to actually have on the show, and we'll make it a reality for you. We've literally started on Talk with the Titans a new thing, which is the quick fire round, where we're going to actually grill or ask our Titans certain questions that our audience is literally dying to actually hear. And one of the first questions I'm going to have to ask you, Zaza, I was going through your videos, and I've seen that literally you are a role model to the young women out there, and I want to know, is that a daunting task to know that so many women actually follow you and look up to you, or do you actually welcome it? Sorry, I've got you on mute. If you just click the unmute button.
So when you mute me, I can just unmute it and then talk. Yes. Okay, cool. I don't shy away from the task at all. I actually welcome it. And I think that's born out of, when I was coming up as a young girl in Oakland, I didn't have any role models. And actually, you know, the women who I grew up around didn't really intervene in my life the way that I needed them to intervene to help me to kind of, you know, navigate some of the things that I was dealing with as a young girl and a young woman. So for me, I definitely embrace it. It is a heavy responsibility. I literally have young girls, you know, 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 10-year-olds, you know, 20-year-old young women coming to my lectures, and women writing me, telling me, you know, when I post videos and whatnot, that they're watching my stuff, that they watch with their children. Brothers tell me that they watch with their children. So it is not an easy responsibility, but it is something that I definitely embrace, and I appreciate it.
Okay. And one of the next questions I have to ask you as well. Please apologize. I apologize for the delay. I'm actually messaging everybody with the inside of the comment section. If you've got any questions for Zaza Ali, please literally message me or comment with inside of the comment section. And just tag Titans TV, and I'll be able to see your questions, and I'll ask her live right now while she's with us. Okay. So now one of the next questions I have to actually ask you is, you know, everybody has been messaging me, you know, what's the status between Zaza Ali and Professor Griff? You know, I know that you two are literally, you know, have had a radio show called Behind Enemy Minds, or Enemy Minds radio show, and you know, you two work a lot together. I would like to know, are you still working together, or like what's the relationship status between you two?
Well, Griff and I, am I muted? Make sure I'm doing it right. Okay, cool. Griff and I worked together for about 2 years. We did the show Enemy Minds Radio together. We traveled the country and did different speaking engagements. He was very involved in helping me to establish a platform, in helping me to learn the business aspect of what I do, and just helping me to kind of develop myself as far as, you know, working in and out of the community with our people. We did that for 2 years. Enemy Minds Radio, I believe our last show was July or August of last year. All of those shows are available for you to go back and check the blogs. I mean, not the blogs, the archives. There's literally probably 50 some odd videos, if not more than that, on YouTube. We've gotten probably more than 3 million hits, you know, watching our videos. We did a great collective work representing Ma'at. We're no longer working together. He's now doing a show called Serious Minds, which is also on Blog Talk. He still does the interviews with Brother Rich on Underground Radio Network as well. And I definitely implore all the brothers and sisters to continue to support their brother's work and stay abreast with what he's doing.
Excellent. As well, you know, Zaza Ali, you know, comes across as a very powerful woman. And I believe a lot of men, you know, are quite intimidated by the power, the force, and veracity you come out at. You know, so I don't know. I'm hearing it. I don't know if it's true. I don't know. You let me know. Does Zaza Ali actually hate men?
Does Zaza Ali hate men? You know, that it's funny to me that, you know, people gravitate towards what they want to. I know I can be very passionate, sometimes abrasive, and, you know, rough around the edges. I'm also very soft and kind and compassionate, you know, and considerate. You know, I post pictures of birds and flowers on my Facebook page all the time. Like, I'm very in tune with nature. If you knew me, people that know me personally, you know who I really am. Like, I am a very humble and observant person. I would be the person sitting in the back of the room watching everyone. But when I'm working, when I'm doing this work, you know, sometimes I have to be on stage or in the center of the room, which is actually something that I normally would shy away from. But to the question, do I hate men? Absolutely not. I have a 12-year-old son. His name is Nasim. He is the best, freshest, sharpest, flyest, coolest, just most adorable young man that I have ever met in my life. And I am so enamored with him and so in love with him. And I am shaping and molding myself to be the type of woman that he would aspire to be. So for me to hate men would mean that I would hate my son, because he is growing up to be a black man, eventually a king, and eventually a god. So I absolutely do not hate men. I love men. I love black men in particular. But I love our brothers even more so when they are accountable for their behavior, when they are accountable for other men, and when they are living according to the righteous laws of the universe. That's when, you know, when we step outside of that framework, and then we have to deal with the problems that our community are facing, and I address those things, then that's when I become a man hater. You know, I'm a feminist because I challenge men, but when I challenge women, it's not a problem, you know. So there's too much finger pointing, and if we can't sit down and have a dialogue with our brothers and talk about, listen, this is the issues that we have with you as men, not all of you collectively, but some of you, which means it's a collective problem. If we can't have those conversations without it turning into a shouting match and a finger pointing session, then we're not really going to make any progress. So no, I do not hate men. I love my brothers, and that is 50% of why I'm doing what I'm doing and who I'm doing it for.
And we love you too, Queen. We love you too. You know what? I'm actually taking some comments from the comment section, or questions from the comment section, and I'm loving this so far. I've got a comment here from a new creature, and she says, Sister Zaza has been really glowing as of late and looking great and healthy.
Thank you, Queen.
So I love that. I love that. The question here is actually from Huckabuck, Ratchet City Hero, and asks, Titans, please ask Zaza Ali, does she think the Bombarda situation is a trick to begin the defaming of the conscious community?
Well, you know, that's one of the things that I want to talk about when we talk about why our children hate us. I listened to a video last night from Africa Mombada's former bodyguard, and the brother talked about, I definitely implore everyone to go and listen to that video. I can't remember whose page it was, but he talked about how basically people were aware of what was taking place. This is something that I need to stress. When we have a situation where it's a potential that our children have been violated, like just the potential, everything needs to stop. Everything needs to stop. So here we have R. Kelly, known pedophile. We have Eddie Long, known pedophile. I couldn't believe when I went to Atlanta, like everybody's like, yeah, his church is still up. People are still supporting him. Like he's still, you know, he's still getting money. I'm like, what? This dude's a pedophile. R. Kelly is a pedophile, and black people are still paying money to go and see this man perform, still purchasing his albums. You know, so when we talk about why our children hate us, do I think that this is a ploy to somehow infiltrate the conscious community? Well, first of all, Africa Mombada would have to be active in the current conscious community for that to apply. No, he's not. And most of the people of this generation have absolutely no clue who he is. I've talked to several people who are in the New York area where it's like kind of everybody knew that he was homosexual. I never knew that, but okay. And now this whole pedophile thing is coming out, and people are like, well, it's not really that far-fetched. So, you know, no, I don't think it's a ploy to infiltrate the conscious community. And I think that it's something that definitely warrants our attention. And if it's true, he should be ostracized in every single way possible. All of the music that he was a part of, the history, the legacy, all of that should be completely ostracized. That's how I feel about it. Now, I listened to KRS-One very disrespectfully disregard the accusations of pedophilia, which I was astounded by. You know, he said that it didn't matter what he did in his personal life, and that his hip hop legacy is true to form. What? What do you mean? If there's certain countries, if you touch a child, you get your head cut off. You know what I mean? People talk a lot about Islam and in Muslim countries. When you do that type of stuff, you're dead. So, you know, until we as a people start taking our children seriously and taking the what's the word? The innocence of our children. I can't imagine if somebody did something to my son. My whole life would stop. Everything would stop. So until we start feeling like that on behalf of all of our children, We're playing games. Serious games. Right now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to hear anything about Africa Bambaataa until he actually addresses people publicly and says, no, this is not what I did. Here's the proof. Here's where I was at. Here's what I was really doing. Until then, when you're accused of pedophilia, yeah, we got to put you off in a corner somewhere and keep you away from everybody until we figure out the truth of the matter.
That's all I got to say. That's all I've got to say. I ain't gonna say nothing on the topic. I'm just gonna clap wholeheartedly on that one. All right. You know what? I seen actually. Was it today? I saw a flyer pop up on my Facebook screen, and I saw it was Dr. Ma'at and Zaza Ali coming to Oakland to do a lecture. Listen, I was just ecstatic to see it. You know, Dr. Ma'at last week, if you haven't seen last week's show, please check out last week's show. You know, it said that you two are going to come together to do something powerful. You know, I would like to know, how did you two, you two, the biggest titans, should I say, within inside of the conscious community, come together and to work together fully?
Well, she actually hit me up on Facebook. I had seen her presentation where she was responding to the situation about, is the black woman God? And she, right after I watched it, I think maybe within a day or so, she hit me up and she was like, everybody keeps telling me that we remind each other, you remind me of me and vice versa, and it's pretty much like we need to hook up, we need to get in contact. So we exchanged messages, we exchanged text messages. And then I went and met with the brother out here in Oakland, Majai, and we talked about doing a potential event with her and I together. So we set that up, and then she and I ended up talking. We had a great conversation. Very intelligent sister. I just ordered her DVD, Menelik, I believe is the name of it. She's got a animated DVD where she's basically going through some of the ancient African civilizations to teach our children and using hip hop, which I think is extremely dope. And I got to watch some of the videos of her children, and through her children, that's where I really saw the greatest reflection of her, because they're very articulate, highly intelligent, and just super fly young brothers, and I believe she has a daughter as well. So that's what kind of started it. We haven't met personally, but we will meet in June if I don't go to Baltimore before that, and I'm definitely looking forward to building with that queen. She is a scientist as well as a warrior, and I'm honored to to build something for our sisters as well as our people with her.
Definitely. I love this. All right. So let's get into this now. I know you've got like a crazy load of topics that you would like to cover. A lot of people are just wondering, commercialization of consciousness. What is that? I'm actually going to hold that out to the end, because that there sounds mind-boggling by itself. It sounds, So I want to leave that to the end of the conversation. So, you know what? There is the male and female relationships, okay? Everybody has relationship goals nowadays. I've seen loads of these memes going out, but I want to know, what is the black male and female relationship? What is that about? Is it to do with how men and females should interact with each other and respect each other? Like, let me know, get me into this. I would love to know what the black-female relationship is about.
Okay. Before I forget, let me say this because it's on my mind. Yesterday, Afeni Shakur passed away, mother to Tupac Shakur, and I sat down to write something about her, and I couldn't formulate the words the way I wanted to, but I definitely want to honor her legacy, not only as Tupac's mother, but as a freedom fighter and a revolutionary for our people. That was a bad sister. She was pregnant, incarcerated when she was pregnant with Tupac, and she actually went and defended herself in court while she was pregnant with Tupac. I think a lot of us need to go back and revisit that history and look at that sister's life, what she did, and what kind of spirit and energy that she was resonating on when she actually gave birth to Tupac, when he was conceived, as she carried him in her womb, and when she gave birth to him. Because and we'll go into this with the science of self, but there is a scientific, there's a science that is completely lost on our people as far as childbirth and how we rear children. So for Pac, in 26 years of his life, to completely take over the world globally, using his mind and using his music, we look to the womb, who gave birth to that young brother, and we honor her. I'm extremely touched by her life and her legacy, and I hope to honor her with the work that I do. With that being said, male-female relationships. You know, it's funny, when I looked at the video that you posted of Dr. Ma'at, and I'm reading through the comments, and I'm seeing some of the things that these brothers are saying. And some people say, you know, these are trolls, or these are, you know, agents, you know. Okay, maybe so. But a lot of these people are real people. And I'm seeing the disrespectful things that these, I'm not even going to say brothers, I'm going to call them dudes, are saying about this sister. Do you really think anyone in the world is going to take you serious if you're on the internet beefing with black women, black men? And I'm asking that question very honestly, because to disrespect her the way that these dudes did, and then she has children, like she has sons. Her sons are of age where they can go online and actually look at this stuff. Do you think about her seeds? So when we talk about male-female relationships, brothers that are online, there's so many videos now, you know, of black men creating videos and creating platforms that are anti-black women. Like, how does a black man who made his bones off of disrespecting black women have a seat at any table in the black community? How does he get to stand on any stage in the black community? How does he get to walk through the door where black men are present without somebody popping him in his mouth? Physically or intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, whatever you want to call it. How do these dudes get platforms in our communities? So when we talk about, you know, men and our relationship to our women, you don't have to be in a relationship with a woman to have a relationship with a woman. And I think that this is something that we need to really start cultivating in how we interact with one another. Men and women need to understand the importance of having platonic friendships, having respect for women without trying to get them in the bed. You know, the condition of the relationship between our brothers and our sisters is very sad right now, and it's scary. If we look at the statistics of, you know, 70+% of our households being headed by single mothers, and then you have people now that say, well, I don't believe that statistic. That's not true. You know, okay, well, what if it's 50%? What if it's 30%? You know, whatever in your mind that you think you gauge it to be, it's still too much. And I can tell you, you know, when I travel and when I interact with a lot of sisters, 60 to 70% seems like an accurate number of women who are out here by themselves. A lot of them are raising their children in war zones, who have no guidance and no connection with men. So we have a whole generation of boys that have come before us and that are coming up with us that have no idea how to interact with a man, that have no idea what a real, true, strong black man looks like, how he walks, how he talks, how he thinks, how he moves within the society. But guess what? They can turn on Real Housewives of Atlanta and see a flaming homosexual man wearing a purse with lipstick on and high heels, and somewhere in his young mind, he thinks that this represents manhood, and he should. If he doesn't know what a man looks like, he's identifying himself with this man. So, you know, I tell brothers, you know, black women are giving up on y'all. And then, you know, I don't know how some brothers take it in different ways, you know, but I'm telling you in no uncertain terms, black women are giving up on you. Then it becomes, well, you know, sisters do this, they're materialistic, they don't read, they don't study, they won't do this, they won't do that. Okay, but black women are giving up on you. Does it matter? Well, I'll just go to Brazil and give me a Brazilian bombshell. Really? I can't tell you how many times I see these videos. You going to Brazil, you know, this mysterious land of these beautiful, you know, curvaceous women who serve you strawberries when you wake up and rub your feet when you go. Like, dismiss me with that. I know brothers who have gone to these places and found these women, and they are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So if you think that you're somehow going to escape your own dysfunction, because that's what it is. Elijah Muhammad said, there's no such thing as a no good woman. Every woman that is that way was made that way by a no good man. So if we have brothers who, you know, over time have damaged women along their path, you have a responsibility.
Hold on, sis. Please, could you just repeat? That was a power quote right there. Could you please repeat that again?
Yes, there's no such thing as a no good woman. Every woman that is that way was made that way by a no good man. I mean, that's, you know, that's it. And then it's like, then we go into the semantics, you know, well, my baby mama did this, and, you know, all of that type of stuff. But it's funny because, you know, the man is the head of the household. The man is supposed to protect and provide. The man is supposed to secure. The man is supposed to do all of these things. But then when we start talking about accountability, then we start shying away and placing all of the responsibility on the women. Well, I'm taking responsibility for myself. I know, sisters, we can be out of our minds. Like, seriously, I counsel women all the time, and I'm like, sis, you sound crazy. Like, you need to stop. You don't even need to be in a relationship with a man right now. You know, it's accepting accountability and responsibility for one another. You can't just leave us as women out here drowning and floating. We need you. We need our men. I know, in no uncertain terms, I need black men. We need you to help us to raise and cultivate a new generation of young warriors and scholars and thinkers. We need our men to be balanced. There's a lot of brothers who are leaning way too far to the masculine side and not in touch with the feminine aspect of who they are. Well, that's what Ma'at represents. It doesn't just represent the male and the female. It also represents the male and the female attribute of yourself. So in order for us to revive our relationships, you know, some sisters are too masculine. A lot of our sisters need to kind of come back to the middle. We've been doing everything for so long, we don't know how to stop and just say, okay, I need a man to come in and help me, open up my heart, open up my mind, and welcome a brother in, whether he's here or not, so that he can come in and help me to cultivate the type of household and the type of life that I want. Now, let me say this. Submission is a word that gets thrown around a lot when it comes to male-female relationships. And I see sisters all the time, like, you know, I ain't submitting to no man. Then you have these other sisters who go way, you know, to the other end, you know, black women who won't submit to black men are the problem. And then you have these brothers that are just like, bang it in your hand, like, you have to submit, you have to submit. Well, what does submission mean? What does that mean? Like, the way that it is expressed and is described, it sounds like a ball and chain to me. And I ain't trying to wear no ball and chain. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like a wrestling move right there.
Yeah, the way that we express it, it's like, you know, stay in your place. You know what I mean? Well, the planet Earth is 196,940,000 square miles. I don't have a place. I go where I want to go. But if you come with me, you know, that would be the my preference. But submission is submitting to your higher self. So if you're in an argument with your partner and you know you're wrong, submit. You know what I'm saying? But submission has to be reciprocal. And that's the thing that gets lost in the conversation. Well, men don't submit to women. Really? When you put your life force, when you lay down with a woman and you put your life force inside of that woman, there's no greater form of submission. Because you are giving her the opportunity to cultivate life and to bring a child into existence. There's no more powerful expression of life in the universe. You're in submission when you lay down with a woman. It's not a negative thing. We use this terminology as if it's negative. You know, women, because we're so used to having to do everything on our own, to be independent, that we don't want to just sit back and say, okay, you can take care of it. I don't want to do it. If you have a sister in the household that is a mathematician and you making the money, because you making the money, you want to pay the bills, but she has the mind of an economist and she is intelligent with numbers, you would be a fool not to submit and allow your woman to take care of the household bills. So submission has to be reciprocal. Now, I will say to the brothers that when you are operating from your God mind, from your original mind, when you are standing on your square, when you are doing what you are supposed to do, when you are living the way that you are supposed to live and setting the example for us as well as our children, we submit. It's not a problem. The problem comes into play where, we have fools in our communities that are beating our children and emotionally disrespectful and oppressing our women, and then we turn around and talk about submission. No, I ain't submitting to no fool. You know what I mean? So to bypass all of that, I would say we submit to truth. What's wrong with that? So if you're operating from a spirit of truth, if you're living in a spirit of truth, then we submit. Now let's do this, because this goes back to the Ma'at, right? This goes back to the Zaza hate men. This is the two aspects of my personality, and the two aspects of the conversation that needs to be had with our people, right? Black men, we are tired of you disrespecting our women, not all black men, but to whom it may concern. We are tired of you disrespecting our women. We are tired of you bringing drugs and violence in our community. We are tired of you allowing for pedophiles to be in our community, molesting our daughters and our sons and our women. We are tired of you not owning up to your responsibility as fathers and as nurturers and as protectors and as providers in our community. We are tired of the ignorance. We are tired of the ego and the arrogance, which is prevalent in the conscious community right now, but we'll talk about that in a minute. We are tired of you abandoning our communities, right? You got that? Now, the black man in his most beautiful and rawest and original self is absolutely the most beautiful creation that the universe has ever put forth. When you are standing on your square, when you are operating from your higher self, which is your mind, when you are giving out love, when you are giving out positivity, when you operate from kindness, when you are in tune with who you are as a man, when you stand up to these devils and protect our communities, when you treat the black woman as if she is the queen that you talk about, when you treat her like she is the goddess that she is, when you handle us in a way that is conducive to elevating us opposed to oppressing us, the black man is absolutely the most beautiful creation that the planet has ever seen. And I honor and I respect and I worship that aspect of black men. Those are the two conversations that we as women and as people need to be having. We can't just keep coming out firing off rounds, sisters out here disrespecting brothers, blaming everything on black men. And we can't just be cheerleading these brothers and acting like everything is all good when our communities are war zones. We need to be balanced in the assessment, right? So when it comes to male-female relationships, and this is critical because right now we have brothers who are taking to the stage in the conscious community on a broader scale, on YouTube videos, on blogs that are very disrespectful to black women. How do you have a homeboy that doesn't take care of his children? I don't understand that. How do men who are playing on our women not have to answer to other men? So for me, I feel like I have a responsibility as far as the way that I interact with black women and helping them to see the better side of black men. Black brothers, my brothers, you have the same responsibility helping our brothers to see the better side of black women. I think if we can approach it from that perspective, I think that we can get a lot more accomplished because we need to heal. I said that when I was in LA. I said, people hit me up, make little smart comments on some of my flyers and like, here's another lecture, what are you possibly going to say that hasn't already been said? Just too much talking. I do radio. It's like, all you're doing is talking. We need to heal. So for us to come together and have these type of conversations and building sessions and to be able to hear it from the feminine perspective, I know that what I'm saying is going to resonate with somebody's heart. And if it's just one person, then I'll take that. But learning to come back and just to see each other as human beings again. You know what I mean? I don't have to know anything about you, brother, to know that I love you. Now, if you give me any reason outside of that to feel like you're disrespectful, we go from there. But just handling one another with care, I think is the most important thing for us as far as our relationships right now.
Definitely. And you know what? You were talking about men, wanting the women to be submissive and so forth. I personally believe that most men are taking L's every single day at home, and they're coming out in public and talking that talk that women need to be submissive, but at home that really ain't the case. But you know, my personal view, you know, in terms of relationships, full stop. I have my own science of you know, the perfect relationship. For me, the perfect relationship is a person who is with their opposite and equal yet same in nature as them. And as soon as somebody's not your opposite and you're equal and same in nature as yourself, you know, that's when you have this submission going on, that, you know, somebody's not equal to me, so therefore they need to submit to me. But you should be with your complement. You should be with your opposite. You should be with your equal. So therefore, there should be no need to submit. There should even be no need to compromise. There is simply.
It's like to say it to me. You know, it's like, have you ever heard the sun to tell the flowers to submit? You know what I mean? Just be the sun. Be the sun. Shine your light on the grass and the trees and the water and the flowers, and everything will bloom. When you're not being the sun, that's when we don't have access to the sun, that's when things start to die off. If you be who you are by nature, we don't even have to talk about submission. That's when you start imposing things on women, when you have to tell a woman to submit. No, just be who you are and let the natural order of things take place.
That's right. That's right. You only tell somebody to submit, or you tell somebody that you're higher than them when you feel insecure with inside of your own self. That Absolutely. You have to be dominant over another person.
Absolutely.
All right. So you know what? That's good, because it's going to lead us on to the science of self. Could you give us a breakdown of the science of self?
The science of self. Wait, we're going into the science of. I thought we were going to do why our children hate us.
Okay.
Can we?
Yeah. If it leads on nicely, let's do it. Before we go into that, I'm going to give you some time. Before we go into that, for all of you lot who are new to Talk with the Titans and just coming in, you know what? Let me just give you a quick rundown of Talk with the Titans again. Titans TV, we have a lot of these types of programs going on a weekly basis. Actually, tomorrow we've actually got Minister Inky actually coming on to give us some information on health, how to build a God body itself from a comedic and modern scientific perspective. But yeah, if you're new to Talk with the Titans, we was birthed out the idea that the intellectual giants should have a well-organized platform to present, discuss, and debate critical information affecting our community, proposed by you, our audience members, our community. And yeah, so you're watching right now. There's literally about over 100 of us watching right now. So we do a lot of conscious lectures, discussions, interviews, and debates. If you haven't already, please check out our last shows. We've had the great sister, Dr. Ma'at, come in and talk about the black woman. Is she God? Is she not God? You know, we had Sana, Young Pharaoh, Amin Ross Squad, and Nasi Yashavel coming in as well. That was a powerful show. Please check it out, as well as Nasi Yashavel, Death of the Conscious Community, and Sharif Bey, the Golden Age of the Moors. Yeah, please check out all the great shows. You know, we've also had Brother Polite, Young Pharaoh, who else? Ishmael Bey, Brother Ngozi, Team Osiris, Lord Abba, and the list literally goes on. So please check out those Talk with the Titans show. We literally have Talk with the Titans every week, at least twice a week nowadays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and possibly Mondays as well. And if you haven't as well, we do a Speakers Corner section at over here in the UK, where we have you know, different debates going on literally on a weekly basis, where people come from literally all around the world, all around the country, to calm down and actually to debate any well, critical things that are affecting them. Most of it is religious debates, I won't lie to you there. So we've had an Irish Christian versus the English Muslim. We've had Muslim versus Christians going on, atheist debates. What else? We've had Hebrew debates, Kemetic debates, all different types of debates. So please check out the channel as well. And if you like me and like the sound of my voice and like seeing me, check out some of the stuff that I've done. I've actually done a lecture on the 42 laws of Ma'at. Reading it from the actual hieroglyphs itself, and giving you a breakdown from it. You know, getting involved with the debates over there as well. Also dedicated a few videos to our Muslim brothers. What color was the Prophet Muhammad? To my Kemetic brothers, the Kemetic rituals or prayer rituals explained, as well as to my Hebrew brothers, was Moses or is Moses found in Egypt? So please check it out. Please check that out. check it out, check it out. And as well, check out the African History and Philosophy section, where we have brother, the elder, our sheikh, our saver, Ranoka Rashidi, giving a great lecture on the African presence in Asia when he was over here in the UK. Yes, definitely. Please check that out. So yeah.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, go ahead.
So my spiritual advisor just sent me a message and says someone commented and said, now tell the other side about how women love those murderers and those dope boys. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Finger pointing. I just gave you both aspects, talking about black men, addressing black men in particular. I gave you the critical analysis of how we as women feel of what our men need to work on. And then I gave you the loving and the nurturing and the compassionate aspect of what we love about you. You couldn't even embrace that. You had to turn around and drop a seed. You're trying, see, this is what, agents don't always have to work for the government. Sometimes you're just an agent because you are who you are. So how could you talk about the women who love dope boys and murderers instead of saying, let's talk about the dope boys and the murderers? How about we do that? How about we eliminate the dope boys and the murderers in our communities and make more men who are intellectually and mentally and spiritually astute available for our women so they don't have to love dope boys and murderers? That doesn't mean that we don't hold the women responsible for their selection in men, that women need to stop, having children with these, dysfunctional men. Of course they do. I teach that all the time. But when do we, they're selling dope in our communities. They're murdering our people. I think they're a bigger threat than the women who lay down with them. That's the issue. Like, we talk, the commercialization of consciousness. Okay. I wanted to say that because this happens so much. We do not want to deal with the issues at the root of our problems. We want to talk about everything besides the real issues, and that's an issue.
Teach. Okay, so we're gonna go into, that's why most times I try my very best to ignore this. The Bible talks about the principalities in darkness or principalities in high places or whatever the case is. I think they're just the agents of those principalities in dark places within inside of themselves that they have to, and they feel confident to actually voice their opinions on the comment sections on YouTube, on Facebook, but they rarely would do that face-to-face encounter with you. So yeah, those type of people I literally ignore because if I don't put my mind onto them,
but
they will just disappear.
Sometimes you have to address them though, because what we have to remember, and I ignore a lot. Like, trust me, I have had to learn to not read the YouTube, the comments and whatnot. But there's a lot of young people who are looking for something. And so on my Facebook page, there's a lot of traction, a lot of, stuff happening. Every now and then I have to check somebody so that young people can see the other side of gravitating towards the ignorance, opposed to gravitating towards intelligence. So when you see ignorance and then you see intelligence, you know which one you want to choose. It's like, put the clean glass next to the dirty glass and let the people decide. Sometimes we have to do that.
That's it. You know what? I'm loving this comment right here from Pure Feminine. She says, "Talk the ting, sis. Talk the ting now."
Peace, queen.
I love that. So yeah, let's go right into why our children hate us.
Well, so I mentioned earlier the situation with Africa Mambata and the very disrespectful thing that KRS-One said. I talk about in my book too, Plagues of Dysfunction, R. Kelly, and how he was in Chicago basically preying on young girls, and everybody knew about it. They said that he used to sit outside of a popular choir singer, a gospel singer who was very well known in the Chicago area. He used to sit outside of her school and basically wait for these young girls to come out, and he would pick them up, and this sister was well known in the community. She knew what he was doing, and she didn't say or do anything. You have Eddie Long, this preacher who's in Atlanta, who's making all of this money, who's still like going around it. Like, how do you even have legs right now? How do you even have kneecaps? And he's not even scared. And then you watch the interviews of the young brothers who were molested by him, and you can see how they've been so broken. How do these type of people survive and thrive amongst black people? And these are, you know, probably middle class black people in the South who attend these churches. I've seen the churches in Atlanta. Oh my God, they're like mansions squared. How is it that we have people in the community that are preying on our children and we don't say or do anything about it? This situation with this young sister, Amy Joyner, the one who was in Delaware, who got beat up, jumped in the bathroom, and she ended up losing her life, you know, and it took off on social media. You know, there was some hashtag Amy, hashtag Amy Joyner and whatnot, but the seriousness of what happened to that young sister, I mean, when I think about it, it tears me apart, because she went to school. She did what she was supposed to do, and to get terrorized like that. And then it's like, you know, black women came on and attacked me because I said, you know, we focus more on celebrities than we do our daughters. And they're like, well, we hashtagged it. What do you think? You know, we're the ones who made it popular. No, hashtagging it is only a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. Like, do we realize that our children are crying out for help, their souls, and they are crying out for our attention, and we are standing back and hashtagging rest in peace Amy. Meanwhile, there's another Amy in Oakland, and there's another Amy in Harlem, and there's another Amy in Dallas, and there's another Amy in South Central and Houston and Chicago. This is happening every single day to our children. They are crying out for us, and we are not doing anything about it. Then we turn around and attack Erykah Badu because she tells young sisters, she's telling girls in general, maybe you should make your skirt just a little bit longer to keep certain attraction off of you. All hell broke loose. What? That's. Let me calm down. That's common sense to tell our daughters that maybe they should dress a little bit more modestly, not wear 3/4 of cloth, not cover up your head with a hijab. Just be a little bit more modest in the way that you represent yourself, so that you can keep unnecessary attention away from you. Vanity with young people is out of control. I was looking through my son's Instagram last week, because he has an Instagram page, and I'm looking at the girls who are on his page, and these are all his age range, 12, 13, 14-year-old, his friends. They are so vain on the outside, but on the inside they're so insecure. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they represent. They don't know what they want to do with their lives. A lot of them probably come from broken homes. They are online twerking. They are making videos trying to get male attention because they don't have fathers in the household. And then what do we say? Well, it's up to the parents. That's on their parents to raise them. Well, the children who have parents, this doesn't even apply. The children who have parents who are responsible, we don't even have to have this conversation with them. We're talking about children who come from broken homes, who come from dysfunctional families that need our help. And then the hypocrisy of it is that we'll turn around and say it takes a village to raise a child. We'll quote African proverbs when it's convenient, So looking at Amy, looking at the situation with Erykah Badu, looking at the statistics of abortion of black women in America, and in my book, I talked about eugenics and population control, and how girls who are 14 to 21 years old are having 3 to 5 abortions. 3 to 5 abortions. They're using abortion as a method of birth control. Should we not be concerned? Is that not like an alarm going off in our heads? Is that not like an alarm going off in our heads? I don't know who that is. I think it might be
that was the alarm. That was the alarm.
Okay, perfect timing. An alarm going off in our head? Like, how is it that we are not in tune with what's taking place with our children right now? So they have an absolute right to hate us. Look at the condition of black schools in the United States. Sankofa, right there in Brooklyn, the mecca of consciousness. We got programs and lectures and things happening all the time. We got people making moves. We got major things happening in Brooklyn. And here we have schools that are looking to edify our children and give them an African culture and African education that can barely keep their doors open. How is that possible? And then we turn around and go on Facebook and say you need to pull your child out of the white man's school. The logistics of what that means to take 1 or 2 million black children out of public schools and put them into African center schools. What does that look like? So this is something that, to pop culture and to reality TV, as far as the Amy Joyner thing and then the violence. You know, it's funny to me how immersed we are in the culture of commercialization, reality TV. You know, there was a reality TV show, Sorority Sisters. I can't remember which sorority it was, but they were going to do a reality TV show. And the sisters from the sorority group, like, they got amped about it and was like, no, absolutely not. They got to shut down. It got taken off TV. Well, how come you can't do that for for Real Housewives of Atlanta or Basketball Housewives? Is it only important when it's something that's particular to you? Are we not looking at the condition of our children as a whole? You know what I mean? So just the reality, the homosexualization in the African American or black community, looking at young boys who are emulating women now. Are we not surprised? Are we not scared? I mean, I am. I am extremely worried about the generations coming up behind me. In Africa, they say that we're supposed to be preparing for 7 generations coming up behind us. What have you, not you directly, brother, but you and me as well, done in the past 2 years or 5 years for the next 7 generations coming up behind us? There's a brother named Tyrone Hayes, and I quote his work in my book 1, The Scientific Intervention in Our Affairs, that talks about atrazine, a company named Syngenta, and atrazine, the herbicide that's being sprayed on all of the products, the corn in particular, all across the country. He did a study and found that the corn that he did a study on frogs and found that the corn that these frogs were being exposed to and the herbicide was effeminizing the frogs and turning them into females. So we have male frogs now that are developing ovaries. They have testicles and ovaries. Their voice box is changing and it's becoming soft and opposed to being masculine like a toad's voice should be. And he made the connection that the herbicides that are being sprayed on the produce is homosexualizing males. And if we're melanated people, and anybody that knows the science of melanin, you know that it's a bonding compound. So it's taking whatever toxin, foreign substance into the system, and it's multiplying it, and it's becoming whole with one. How can we as a people who have so much access to technology and information have access to this information? The brother did his job. He did the research. His life got threatened behind this. How can we have access to this information and not be warning our children and not be preparing them for what's ahead? Genetically modified food, chemtrails, you feeding your children Popeyes and Kentucky Fried Chicken and going to Walmart and buying oranges with no seeds in it. How can you as a mother, when you're supposed to be the scientist in the kitchen, feeding your child and giving your child life and longevity, how can you not be aware? It's your duty and your responsibility. So don't come and ask me, what's the solution? You are the solution. How can we get involved with our children? There's so many things that we could be doing that we don't do. You walk past children every single day that need your help, that are living in poverty. Young sisters who are trying to find their way, who need guidance. And we won't help them because we're trying to get home and watch Scandal. That's why our children hate us. We have totally dropped the ball. And the conversation on sex, and I'll end with this. In my opinion, people say if you're not talking about economics, you're not talking about anything. If you're not talking about mental health, you're not talking about anything. If you're not farming, you're not talking about anything. In my opinion, if we are not talking about sex and the power and the mismanagement and the disrespect of sex in our bodies amongst ourselves and amongst our children, we are not talking about anything, because 370,000+ black babies are being aborted every year. Sexually transmitted diseases among young black teenagers is off the chain. Young girls are being found in cafeterias and closets and gymnasiums in schools giving blowjobs in middle school, in high school. If we're not talking about the science of sex, the spiritual aspect of what sex means, it's not just an act where you lay down with somebody and have an orgasm. You are involved in an act that creates life. It is the most highly elevated spiritual act amongst two people when operating on a righteous accord that you can do. So, you know, Erykah Badu, she had 3 babies by 3 different children, right? 3 different men, right? So she's a HO. She's all of these different things, all of these different negative things that these so-called conscious brothers call her. Well, what would your relationship resume look like without condoms and abortion? What would your relationship, how many children would you have? How could you disrespect this sister? She has children. Now her children are a litmus test for whether she can teach young girls about their bodies and about their behavior. That's insanity. Once the children are here, it doesn't matter how they got here. They're here. So if our children stand back and look at us laying on the ground doing lay-ins and marches and rallies and getting punked by white people every single day, they shouldn't respect us. I'm not laying down for nobody. I'm not marching for nothing. You'll never see me lay in the ground in defense of my son. Our children don't see us actively combat and take the war to the system of racism, white supremacy. They don't see us doing that, so they don't respect us, and they shouldn't.
For real, because boy, anybody ever touch one of my children, I ain't marching. I ain't lying down.
Everything.
I ain't voting. I'm taking action, and that's real talk. All right. For everybody who's actually watching right now and you're loving the information, please let us know that you're loving the information. Give us a big thumbs up. Give us some likes. Let us know you're loving the information, and let us know in the comment section as well. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're feeling so far. I know some of you are funny. They just want to hear Zaza Ali pronounce certain words. They love the way you sing. Yeah, she's the most articulate female within inside of the conscious community. Yeah, we should be building, definitely. They're saying that there's over 170 people in here, and yeah, that's right. We definitely should be building. Definitely should be building. So please, for everybody who's tuned in right now, literally just hit the share button. Hit the share button. We're going into the last section of the show, practically. So please hit the. I'm seeing the like buttons. Thank you. Shouts to Diana V. Perez. Shouts to Robin White. Shouts to Aman Ross Squad, Ishmael Bay. Everybody's giving their big thumbs up. So I'm loving that. They're loving the information that you're dropping. Charles Black says she's dropping wisdom. She's dropping wisdom. Preach, family, preach, and that's from Antonio Hayes. Yeah, so everybody's loving what you're talking about right now, and that's what I like. The family is supporting. I know it must be real early where you are right now. I know a lot of people may be at work where you are right now. What's the time? Is it 5?
1:34 here.
1:34 where you are. So I know it's real early over in the US. Over here it's at 9:34. So I'm glad to see that the family has come out. They're supporting our sister on the live show as well. Could you let us know how we could actually find you, find your works, find you on either YouTube, the blog talks, and any books that you've got as well?
So my website is www.zazaali.com. That's ZAZAALI.com. My books are there. You can find interviews there. You can find my blog, which is also there. My YouTube channel is Zaza Ali 007. I also have another one that's ZALI 2012. I'm on Facebook at Zaza Ali. I have another Facebook page, Black Matter Zaza Ali. I'm on Twitter, Zaza Zaza Ali _7. I'm on Instagram, Zaza _Ali 78, and that is way too much social media for me. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
How do you keep up? How do you keep up? All right. Yeah, so definitely we are going to have questions and answers later on with inside of the show. So definitely you'll be able to, comment, leave some more comments, and we'll read them out live as well. If you would like to actually join in on the panel, I may just open up to our Talk with the Titans family or members. So if you would like to, please join the Talk with the Titans Facebook group, or simply message me on Facebook, which is Kalam, KALAMSPEL, and let me know you would like to join in. And hopefully within the next 20 minutes or so, I should be able to open it up so you can ask any questions that you may have for the sister. So I see a lot of you are tagging me right now. I will definitely look into them very shortly. But our sister is going to go in right now on I believe it's the science of the war on black women. The war on black women. So we're going to go into that, and I'm sure we've got the commercialization of consciousness, the highly anticipated section that everybody's been waiting for. Please keep in tune. We're going to drop that real soon. Okay, so go ahead, my sister. The floor is open to you.
Well, I'll say in no uncertain terms that collectively, our men don't respect our women's minds. And I have had so many experiences in what I do. You know, here I have YouTube videos where I'm talking about eugenics, and I'm talking about the science of self, and I'm talking about genetically modified food, and I'm talking about chemtrails, and I'm talking about organ trafficking. I'm talking about things that should elevate our people. And then people, and I shouldn't just say men, women as well, come on the videos and say some of the most disrespectful and out of bounds things, as far as, and a lot of that is rooted in the lack of respect for a woman's mind. I've been on Facebook and I've said things that totally, got blown out of proportion. And I know if a man said it, it wouldn't even be a problem. Like, men who can't control their sexual urges can't be trusted in positions of leadership. Why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? That's common sense to me. If you know the history of COINTELPRO, then you understand that they will stand back and study you and see what type of woman that you were interested in, whether you like light-skinned, slim women, whether you like dark-skinned, thick women, whether you like intelligent women, whether you like ratchet women. They will step back and study you and then go find or create that perfect woman in order to control you and rule you by your lower self. We're talking about the art of war. That's the art of war. So the way that women get pigeonholed, I see brothers online, Muhammad's, Bays, Els, brothers with African names, brothers who are supposed to be representing. Are you on your phone while I'm talking?
My apologies. I'm literally accepting all the Facebook people that would like to actually.
Okay, my bad. You totally threw me off.
So I apologize for just doing.
That's the black woman kicking in. Brothers online, sharing posts of women, degrading us by our physicals and, elevating us as far as the curves, the big butts and the waist and the breasts and all of that. You'll give us props for that, but you don't want to elevate the woman for the science of her mind. You want to limit us to, what accomplishments that we've made outside of the sciences, the building, the mathematics. This brother came on your video with Dr. Ma'at and said, I like, Dr. Ma'at, she's a true scholar. I can't deal with Zaza Ali, but Dr. Ma'at is comparing us. Like, that's my sister. Why are you trying to get in the way? Why are you trying to compare and contrast me and her to break up any unity that we could have that would effectively build up our women? That is extremely disrespectful and ineffective. That stuff works on uncultivated women. You can't deal with a civilized woman like that. And I know that that makes a lot of these brothers mad. They want to jump into conversation and try to demean and menialize us. Talk about how I look, talk about my hair, talk about everything that I'm talking about except your responsibility and accountability as a black man. So we saw a sister in California get slung on the ground and sat on it by a California Highway Patrol officer and get her face beat in. Renisha McBride got her head blew off in outside of Detroit for knocking on a white man's door and asking for help. We saw the young sister in McKinney, Texas get sat on by a police officer while black men stood right there. Am I still on? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, because my video went out. The young sister in, I can't remember what city it was in, she was in the classroom, and the police officer for the school came in and basically put hands on. I mean, he attacked her like she was a grown man while a classroom full of, you know, other black teenagers and whatnot just sat there. Somebody videotaped it, thankfully, because we needed to see it. But, you know, we are watching our daughters and our women get so disrespected. Black girls are being put in handcuffs and put in police cars because they have Afro puffs, you know. And then we turn around. I remember I was on Boyce Watkins' channel. He interviewed me, and we were talking about molestation and the statistic of, they say 65 to 70% of black women are molested by men that they know in their communities. And several people came on the video and said, I don't think that statistic is accurate. I think that the United States government is using that statistic to try to demean and disrespect black men. Do you know how that feels to a woman who's been molested to read that? Do you have any idea how that feels, where you won't even address the molestation? You want to address whether or not the statistic is accurate. How about you do this? How about you start a consulting firm and you go out and actually get the accurate statistics on how many women and girls are being molested in the black community? But to denounce or to deny, I can't see my video, brother, so I don't know if I'm on or not, to denounce or deny or to be so emotionless when it comes to an act such as that, where a woman or a child could have her innocence taken from her. How do you ever be whole again from that? I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was telling me about a sister whose father molested her. How do you bounce back from that? And how do we have broken people in our communities, a lot of broken people in our communities, and we don't want to go to the root and the issue of what it is that they're facing? There's also a war on black women by black women. I'm gonna say that again. Can you hear me, brother? Because I can't see my video.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can see you.
I see you now. There's also a war on black women by black women. And, you know, this whole black feminism thing, you know, it's really astounding to me that black women have taken to the internet and refuse to accept our own responsibility for ourselves and our behavior. And then we turn around and blame everything on our men. But then you have sisters going on videos of other sisters and talking about how light-skinned they are, their hair. You're not really a black woman. Disrespecting women because they're speaking on behalf of women opposed to men. It's like there's this whole, you know, section of cheerleaders, black women cheerleaders, where they're going to ride the boat of supporting a black man to hell. It doesn't matter what he does. You know, colorization, the over-sexualization of our daughters. Videos with women with children and twerking and all of that type of stuff. Like, how do you do that as a woman? How do you not understand the impact of your own behavior and how our daughters see ourselves? And then this is the one that really gets me, and I'll leave it with this. Black women trying to use sex and the sexuality and the sensuality of a woman to teach other women that you can control or rule a man with sex. That is pure, utter foolishness. You are not, if you are even trying to control or rule a man with sex, you don't even know who you are. Because sex, in its highest spiritual form, is supposed to produce life and to spiritually elevate you. The reward is the pleasure, you know. And so we have this whole new section of women now who are yoni yahoos, you know what I'm saying, who think that if you do enough Kegel exercises and you know, penetrate a man in a certain type of way, that is the highest representation of what a woman is supposed to do for a man. Man, stop. That is pure foolishness. The last thing about the war on black women, you know, the conversation about is the black woman God or not, you know, that's been in the has been popular. And I am not inclined to jump into that because, you know, to me, showing being God, you know, is not something. I mean, we could prove anything with science if we really tried to. We could prove it with logic. We could prove it with reason. We could prove it with history. But the question for me is the black man God if he can't protect his woman? If you can't protect your women and children, are you God? And then is the white man the God of this world? And does his woman rule jointly as the goddess of this world? I think that last question we can answer in no uncertain terms. He is absolutely the God of this world. He is absolutely ruling this planet, and his wife is ruling it side by side with him, and cultivating and keeping stirred up the war between the black man and the woman, and specifically, you know, the war against black women.
That's it. That's it. And I don't think that the white race, the white man and the white woman have to do much nowadays. It's literally us that has actually taken on the war against each other for ourselves. You know, most times we find it just checking in the comment section alone. You know, you see that the conversations aren't really white males or white women coming on and bombarding us with the negatives and the abuse, etc. It's generally our own kind, our own race that are trying their very hardest to tear us down rather than to build us up. Instead of actually dropping a positive comment, they will rather drop a negative comment. And if that takes place, yeah. If that takes place, go ahead.
I'm not at my house. So the pictures in the background do not reflect me. Cognitive, like you see what I'm saying here? We just went from college to kindergarten. We just went from college talking about the emotional and the spiritual and the mental and the intellectual problems and needs of our people to kindergarten. The pictures that are in the background. I'm not at home. I'm not in my own personal space. I'm here because it was conducive to what I'm doing with this interview. So let's get off the, you know, the yellow bus for a minute. Let's get off the yellow bus and come back to the center. Stay with me, people. We're talking about the science of self. We're talking about the war on black women. We're talking about why our children hate us. This is why we don't get anything accomplished. Because we talk about everything under the sun except the things that we really need to be focusing on. It's astounding to me.
That's right. You know, focus on the things that.
It's a good thing I can't cuss. It's a very good thing I can't cuss. I'm trying to be in my Zen-like state, you know what I mean? But y'all like pulling and tugging at the warrior in me and the lion in me. Let's stay here. Stay here.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this especially for you. Right at the end, once we've reached, because, you know, technically, Talk of the Titans, we literally have, this is actually a good place to drop this. Talk of the Titans, we have 3 rules. First rule is to keep your mics muted at all times. 2, to respect the other person's cipher when they're speaking. And the third rule is please no profanity, because obviously we do have children tuned in watching. But you know what I can do right now? I can actually do a parental advisory. A parental advisory in the last 10 minutes of this show, 10, 15 minutes of this show, we're going to get Zaza Ali into her state.
No.
I'm actually going to provoke that. No. There's no getting out of it now. There's no getting out of it. I'm going to provoke it as much as possible to get you out of that state, because a lot of people who are tuned in, they're like, I can't wait to hear Zaza Ali say cracker. I was like, what? Really? Okay, I need to listen to this. I need to hear this myself. So I'm gonna have to get you into that state.
language. I don't ever say cracker. I don't do that. I might say devil every now and then, but I don't say cracker.
All right. So let's so yeah, definitely for everybody who actually wants to join in, please yeah, go to my Facebook. I've seen the messages or the comments that you've left me on my Facebook. I've sent the link to a couple of people who've actually requested it. So if you definitely would like to actually join in with the conversation, I can actually drop a link at the bottom of the description box. So if you go into the description box right at the bottom, hopefully within the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to drop the link in there so you can actually join in with us and have a discussion with Zaza Ali. What I also might do as well is give you a calling number. But you know what? That's going to be too much extra work, so I don't even want to do that. Just if you are on Google Hangouts, you will see the description in the description box right at the bottom. Please click onto that, and you'll get in to have a conversation with Zaza Ali. All right. So with it, I see you, Diana. I see you. I'm just gonna copy that question for near the end of the show, where we can actually ask the questions to the system. So yeah, if everybody's actually enjoying this show so far, please hit the like button. Let us know that you're actually enjoying the show. I'm reading the comments. I'm loving some of the responses that you've got here. Yeah, I see you. I see you, my brothers. Okay, so you know what? I want to know about this commercialization of consciousness. Can we speak about that? Because I've been dying to hear this. I was like, commercialization of consciousness? I see everybody was literally on the Facebook. If you aren't, friends with me on Facebook is Kalam, Kalam, space SP space EL, and there was, from all of the brothers, and sisters was just joining in with the speculation behind the commercialization of consciousness. So I'd definitely like to hear what you have to say on the commercialization of consciousness.
Well, it's funny when you put the original link up on your page, right? And I went to your page to share it, and I was reading the comments, and people were like, a couple of sisters came on and were like, assuming what I was going to say, first of all, well, we don't need one person to talk about this. We need a panel of people to talk about this. And we need people to stop preaching to our people. And, we need this and we need that. And it's like, you don't even know what I'm going to say. You don't even know, you need a radio platform. Like, why don't you start your own show? Everybody now wants to. It's like this whole social media thing now. It's like, it's crazy. Everybody wants to be famous now. And that's not to say that, the people who are, online, who are talking about things that are pertinent to our community want to be famous. But I'm watching people that I've seen, that I've been friends with on Facebook for a certain amount of time, like straight turn into superheroes. They're like turning into characters. Like, you went from Clark Kent to Superman online, like right before my eyes. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like cartoon characters online. It's so astounding to me. Like, there's this one person on Facebook who's doing this, and I'm like recording it in my own, taking screenshots. Like, okay, here's who he was before, and here's who he's becoming now. And he's got followers. That's the thing that's so astounding to me. And it's all under the guise of the black woman is God. You know what I mean? So he's like bigging us up, and he's always disrespecting men, and everybody's a hotep in, and you know what I mean, saying all of this crazy type of stuff. He's so imbalanced in his assessment, which is funny because you're a man, so when do you ever stand up for yourself? But okay. It's like the minute you start writing and posting, whether it's your own words, whether it's pictures, whether it's things that, you are trying to get people to gravitate online, is the minute that you start doing it for likes, you've already been compromised. And everybody's doing it now for likes. And people, they've done studies on this where people, if a certain number of people don't like their Instagram post or their Facebook post or something they put on Twitter, like, it's making them insecure. It's making them feel depressed. Like, it's just access to way too many minds. And so in the conscious community, quote unquote, you have people now that are like RBGs that are posting pictures of themselves with guns. We training. We really about that life. We about to take it to the white man. Then why are you on Facebook telling anyone? Why? The sister went, who was from Georgia, Sekhmet something. And she had good intentions. I don't think that she had any negative intentions. She made a video where she was talking about white people, and she may have said something about killing, white people. Or so I don't remember all the specifics, so don't quote me on that. She caught a case for threatening, indirectly making indirect threats, and went to jail. And they videotaped her coming out of her house crying and taking her off to jail. Like, is this the revolution? Is this what liberation is? I tell people all the time, don't tag me in anything with guns. Don't tag me in anything where you're actually online talking about taking a war to white people, because I know you're not serious. In Oakland, we used to say, real ballers keep their pagers on vibrate. If you're really about that life, nobody's ever really going to know that you're about that life. We really need to start using discretion in what we post, the information that we put out there. We want to be seen so bad. We want to be seen so bad. We really do. And it's really sad, because what it's going to take for us to combat this war, because the war is definitely on, is going to take, strategy. And being behind the scenes, and not being in front of the camera, and not being on social media talking about the things that we need to do in order to fight for our people. So, the whole Beyonce thing, right? She goes on the Super Bowl, she releases the video, Formation. And I'm sitting back and I'm watching. And I'm watching all of these conscious people, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, she's pro-black now, she's this, she's that. And I'm just sitting back watching, and I'm steaming. Like, the smoke is coming out of my ears. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready to strangle somebody. But I'm just sitting back and watching, right? I watched the video, watched the Super Bowl performance. And she's an entertainer, and she's a great entertainer. She does what she does. I'll never knock her for that. But I'm looking at the response of the people, and they are really involved in this. Like, this is some sort of real Black power movement. And I'm like, in my mind, okay, you ain't really about that life. You ain't really about that life. And you ain't really about that life. Because if you were, then your third eye would be jumping, and you would really see what's taking place. At the Super Bowl, when Beyonce performed with all of the sisters with the berets and the afros and the, the booty shorts and the, when other sisters do it, they HOs. And she's twerking on the Super Bowl field. When regular average women do it, they get disrespected. Now all of a sudden it's revolution. But all right, cool. So I'm looking at the Super Bowl, and I see rainbow posters all in the background, and I see the rainbow paraphernalia all over the ground. This is a homosexual, I don't want to call it a ritual, but a homosexual expose in front of the whole world. And if you were cognizant of how the white man and the media has been using Beyonce and Jay-Z, which are, I would say, the two most powerful entertainers that are among us right now and have the biggest, largest impact, Beyonce more so, you would absolutely know that they are being used to promote a homosexual agenda. Well, why do you say that, Zaza? Lemonade. Great video, right? She paid homage to the ancestors. She brought in aspects of African culture. She had the Ankh on. She had Malcolm X playing in the background. She, was doing her thing. Beautiful, beautiful video. At the end of the video, she pays homage to homosexual relationships. She has a homosexual male couple and a lesbian couple at the end of the video. What? We gonna act like we didn't see that? We gonna act like we didn't see Serena Williams bouncing and shaking in a leotard like Beyonce was her pimp? And this sister's, how much is Serena Williams worth? She's the best tennis player ever. Why would you do that to yourself? And Beyonce sitting back, leaned back in a chair, trying to look like a pimp, trying to act like a man. What are we teaching our daughters? What are we telling our daughters? And in us, in the so-called conscious community, when we claim we really about that life and we co-signing this stuff and we can't even point it out. This is where discernment comes in, brother. This is where we say, wow, that video was dope. Lemonade was tight. I loved how she did this. I loved how she did that. But you know what? I didn't really like that part. It wasn't really cool. She played herself. I didn't like the end where she was promoting homosexuality. That wasn't cool. That's where discernment, intelligent people are able to discern. Take the best part and leave the rest. And then give the children the lesson so that they can see, okay, I can model this. I got to stay away from that. It's called truth mixed with falsehood, right? So when I put up the post about Beyonce and I put Kendrick Lamar, right? Kendrick Lamar did his thing on the Grammys. He represented Africa. He did the police brutality thing. He did the prison thing. He did the, the whole cultural acclamation. Powerful. So I went online immediately. Man, Kendrick Lamar is the man. He this, he that. People called me a hypocrite. You a hypocrite for bigging up Kendrick Lamar where he talks about sex, drugs, and money, and then you turn around and talk about Beyonce. So let's look at it like this. Kendrick Lamar on his recent album, he said, how many leaders you said you needed and left them for dead? Was it Moses? Was it Huey Newton or Detroit Red? Was it Martin Luther, JFK, shooters, you assassin? Was it Jackie? Was it Jesse? Oh, I know it's Michael Jackson. Oh, when hit the fan, is you still a fan? That type of music, that type of conversation, nobody else is talking like that to our young people in the music industry. Just that conversation alone, and he dropped so many other jewels on the album, will resonate. That's soul music. Now you compare and contrast that with if I F my man good, if my man F me good, I'll take him to Red Lobster. That's kindergarten talk. That's kindergarten conversation. That's to the Bayhive and whoever else is listening to me. That is kindergarten conversation. And now we got black children, black girls all in the community repeating that madness. So is that consciousness? Is this revolution? And then they make the announcement right after the Super Bowl that Jay-Z and Beyonce and Tidal make a $1.5 million donation to Black Lives Matter and other social organizations. So I looked all the organizations up. All right, cool. Great thing, right? So Black Lives Matter, everybody should already know that Black Lives Matter is heavily invested in the homosexual LGBTQ agenda. George Soros is the one who gave them $33 million. They're going to be at the forefront of the Gay Pride Parade in San Francisco. They're going to be the main, I forget what they call it, but the main headliner, if you will, for the Gay Pride Parade in San Francisco. So now they're, looking out for transgender. I mean, they're protecting black homosexuals in the larger homosexual agenda. So I say, okay, Black Lives Matter. There were like 8 other organizations that Tidal and Jay-Z made this contribution to. So I looked them all up. All of them are affiliated with the LGBT community. All of them are affiliated. So then the question becomes, are they pro-black or pro-homosexual? And the jury's still out on some of the dancers that performed with Beyonce on whether they were either women or not. But when you look at, I played a video in my lecture, the commercialization of consciousness. When you look at Beyonce's music and who it resonates with, she has a very large homosexual following, very large. There's literally thousands of videos on YouTube where homosexual men, including the Prancing Elite, who were the dance group that did they had the reality TV show, I'm not sure if it's still on, they redid her formation video. So then the question becomes, okay, what is it in the music that's resonating with this community? Do we care? Does it matter to us? Does it matter to us if it seems like this community is embracing and cultivating a certain type of energy and a certain type of spirit within the homosexual community? Anybody that studies frequencies, now we're getting into the science of the mind and the science of the planet, which goes back to the science of self. Anybody that studies frequencies knows that originally our frequency for music was on 440 hertz. Now, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, think about a radio station. If you're listening to 102.9 and you turn the radio station to 106.1, you're on different frequencies, right? Erykah Badu talked about this in a number of her songs where she was talking about frequencies, how certain frequencies tap into love and certain frequencies tap into fear. So The music of today is not on the normal frequency, which is 440 hertz. I don't explain for you to get all of this right now. I'm giving you a little bit. You have to go and research some of this information for yourself. Right now, the music frequency is on a frequency that is basically poisoning the minds of the masses of people. So this is why we have women and girls who are out here doing twerk videos, and we have young brothers who are out here drinking Robitussin and losing their minds. So there's an article a sister sent me about, it's called The Nervous System Manipulation by Electromagnetic Fields from Monitors. This is a patent that was introduced in 2001. Basically, they created, let me read this. It says, the psychological effects have been observed in a human subject in response to stimulation of the skin with weak electromagnetic fields that are pushed with certain frequencies near 0.5 hertz or 2.4 hertz, such as the excite a sensory resonance. Many computer monitors and TV tubes, when displayed, pulsed images emit pulsed electromagnetic fields of sufficient aptitudes to cause such excitation. It is therefore possible to manipulate the nervous system of a subject by pulsing images displayed on or nearby a computer or TV set. For the latter, which is the TV set, the image pulsing may be embedded in the program material, or it may be overlaid by a modulating video stream, either an RF signal or a video signal. The image displayed on a computer monitor may be pulsed effectively by a simple computer program. For certain monitors, pulsed electromagnetic fields capable of exciting sensory resonances in nearby subjects may be generated even as the images are displayed in a subliminal intensity. Now, what is that saying? It's saying that what you see on your television monitor right now, what you see when you're watching TV, is not the only thing that's taking place. There are hertz and frequencies that are being pulsated through your computer and your television that has the potential to manipulate your mind, your brain waves, and the electromagnetic aspect of your heart. So why is this music getting homosexual drag queens to get turned up on Beyonce? Why is it that millions and millions and millions of people online are hashtagging formation and lemonade like that means anything to your life? What does that mean for you and your children? When you one paycheck away from being kicked out of your house? When we watching Trayvon Martin and Eric Garner and Michael Brown and Oscar Grant and Renisha McBride and all of these young brothers and sisters getting killed constantly on the television scene, and you ain't got nothing to say about that. But the Bay Hive, these sisters, these crazy people went on Rachel Roy's Instagram page and cussed her out so thoroughly. And when she blocked her page, do you know they went to her daughter's Instagram page and cursed her daughter out and disrespected her daughter and called her every single name in the book? This is a child. What the hell is wrong with y'all? So when we talk about the power of music, how celebrities are being used, how celebrities are being manipulated and cultivated and using consciousness now in order to gravitate towards our people. You think they don't see the movement? You think they don't know about Titans TV? You think they don't know about Zaza Ali? You think they don't know that brothers and sisters are going on Scribd and searching, doing Google searches and trying to find PDF books for John Henry Clark and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and, Sister Soldier? You think they're not keeping track of the number of YouTube video hits that, Francis Cress Welsing and Joy DeGruy and, prominent sisters and brothers in our community are getting? They know what you're doing. They know that there's something in your mind and in your spirit that's calling out and yearning for something from the universe that you can only get from your people, that you can only get from freedom, that you can only get from knowing yourself. So what do? Bam! They give you truth mixed with falsehood. Now, instead of you talking about Amy Joyner, you're talking about Lemonade, which is a video by an entertainer. She's a beautiful sister. I take nothing from her. People always think I'm hating. I only talk about this stuff because people are talking about it. I would much rather be talking about geoengineering and the electromagnetic force of the heart and how the electromagnetic force of the heart is being manipulated by chemtrails and by harp and by music and by, I would much rather be talking about science, the womb of the woman and how it is in direct correlation to the universe and the atmosphere, atoms and protons and electrons, and how all of that is relative to what you're doing right now. The cells in your body and how you're sitting here right now watching me, and you are a miracle and a divine work of art just by you sitting here watching me. I would much rather be talking about that. But you are being manipulated and being played by the rulers of this world, and they're using your own people to do it. That's the commercialization of consciousness. This is why now we keep getting sidetracked. We can't really talk about the things that we need to talk about because we are living vicariously through Jay-Z and Beyonce and Lil Wayne and all of the rest of the madness. And we think that it's revolutionary because we hashtag bring back our girls. Where they at now? What's happening in Africa right now? What's happening in Kenya right now? What's happening in Nigeria right now? What happened after you hashtag bring back our girls? Do you even know? Do you even go to websites to look it up and find out? No, you don't. You wait for CNN to tell you. You wait for BBC to tell you. You wait for MSNBC to tell you. And then you turn around and follow those trends and you go on social media and you think that's revolution. Yeah, we're really not about that life. You know what I mean? And Kendrick Lamar, let me just say this and I'll end with this. You usually see artists come into the industry and lose themselves, lose their souls. You know, they come in a certain type of way, they have a certain sort of essence and spirit about them, and then they fizzle out and then they turn into some commercialized brand. Kendrick Lamar came in on the sex, money, women tip. We are seeing this brother find his soul as he emerges in the industry. So if you listen to his new album, he's talking about King Kunta, he's talking about the Nagas, he's talking about Nelson Mandela, he's talking about Huey Newton and Malcolm X, he's talking about the power of the mind and the power and the resonance within you. He's elevating the level of conversation. There is no comparison between him and Beyonce. I'm sorry, there's not. And that doesn't mean that tomorrow he won't make a music video where he's talking about sex, drugs, and women again. That's where discernment comes in. We love you, Kendrick. What you did on that album was beautiful, but that record you just put out or that video you just put out, it wasn't really cool, bro. We're going to need you to correct that. Discernment. Being intelligent people who can use our minds to say, this is good, this is not good, I'll keep this, and I got to throw that out. And then holding artists accountable. If I, as a 37-year-old mother of my child, am out here working for our people, if I'm held responsible and accountable for my behavior, then they are too. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care how much fame they have. They have a greater responsibility than I do. We need to hold them accountable for that.
Powerful, sister. Wow. Okay. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. I'm loving what I'm hearing so far. If you lot are loving what you're hearing so far as well, please let us know that you're loving it. I've literally posted the link to the YouTube page. Just go down into the description box and check it out. The YouTube link is there for you to be able to join in via the Google Hangouts, where you can actually ask our sister any questions. But let me just reiterate, before you actually join in, we have 3 rules. The first rule is to keep your mics muted at all times. I will welcome you in to actually ask a question. The second rule is to respect another person's cipher. Once they are speaking, especially our Titans, you do not interrupt and don't say a word. And the third rule is this, please, no profanity. There's going to be absolutely no profanity from you guys. But Zaza Ali, listen, I've opened up. I've already given the parental advisory for there to be some type of swearing going on or profanity going on, because I want to get it in. I want to get things heated. I really want to, touch Zaza. And so let's go in. Let's go in, people. So, Sister Courtney, Sister Nifakara, Nefaka, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I have to get you on to ask the very first question or give the very first commentary to our sister Zaza Ali. If anybody aren't familiar with Sister Nefaka, otherwise known as Courtney. She's literally our Titans TV home resident host of Trending Topics, a show that was literally created to give the women of our community the voice, to be the lead of the show. I'm not even the host of the show, to be honest with you. I simply create the show and I sit back and I let the sisters decide which topics that they would like to actually address. And we set up a panel, we have discussions going on, and they're in control of the show wholeheartedly. Literally, one of the last shows we did do, touching on Beyonce, was actually the Beyonce Formation video when it came out, as well as the transgender agenda. We was discussing Jaden Smith and Will Smith and that goings on, as well as slut shaming, Amber Rose, etc. So definitely, please check out those shows called Trending Topics on Titans TV. But Neferka, the floor is open. And of course, she's also a member of Team Asset. So please, Neferka, the floor is all open to you.
In all honesty, I would kind of like to hear the sister go in a little more. I agree with almost everything she said, and I really don't have any questions right now, but you know, I've always been a follower of hers, and I respect her a great deal, and I love her work. So my only request is for her to keep talking.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Queen. Thank you, for your energy and for your spirit. He mentioned something about Jada and Will, and that was actually another thing that I wanted to touch on. I'm glad he said that. You remember all of the excitement that everyone, everybody was all wrapped up in, the boycott of the Grammys, like that means anything to us as a people. And then, okay, so if you can talk about the boycott of the Grammy, can you talk about Jaden Smith being the face of a female line of clothing, a very prominent, rich European female line of clothing, and the impact that has on our sons? Why, this is discernment again. Jada Pinkett Smith is a very intelligent, beautiful sister. She writes great posts. She's a great writer, very successful in her own right. We got that. The representation that your children are putting out here for the world, and they're into the whole freedom to give them their own self-expression, and I appreciate that. Part of that is how I teach my son, but at the same time, we are all privy to the laws of the universe. None of us can escape that. So it's very irresponsible and ignorant and dangerous for a grown man and woman, particularly a black man and woman. You have a much higher responsibility than anyone with the level of fame that they have, to allow your children to cultivate an environment where they even think it's okay for a boy to be the face of a women's fashion line, and then to turn around and say, well, they paid me $10 million, so you wouldn't turn down $10 million. And then you have the young Willow, who's a beautiful young girl who's growing up, to become what looks like a beautiful woman, posing in pictures with a grown man in the bed. Like, come on. You are in the film industry. You know the power of images. You know what this is doing to young, impressionable teenagers and preteens of all races and all backgrounds. So everybody got on the boycott the Grammys. And, of course, I said something because, I am who I am. And then people were like, well, at least they're doing something. We get mad at them when they don't do anything. And then when they do something, and, we don't. What does that mean, the Grammys? Like, why are we still begging white people to be accepted? What are the Grammys? They have the type of power and the tentacles to reach out to people in the film industry, black people, and to totally set it off. It's like Larry Johnson when the Donald Clippers, the Donald Sterling thing with the Clippers happened. He went online. He's like, we're asking the wrong questions. We're having the wrong conversation. Black people need to start their own league. Well, you're in the industry, Larry Johnson. What have you done since the situation happened where Donald Sterling basically came out and called y'all a bunch of N-words in front of the world, including Magic Johnson, who is arguably one of the most notable faces around the world, who has a homosexual son, by the way. or transgender, whatever he is. Larry Johnson comes out, hashtags this thing, and everybody's talking about it. Yes, he's right. We're having the wrong conversation. Well, you're in the NBA. You're a part of a coaching staff. You have access to the players. Why don't you set it off? No, it's just a hashtag. Because we just talking because now it is popular to make it seem like we are culturally acclimated and like we really care when most of us don't. Jada Pinkett and Will Pinkett are not thinking about the masses of black people, because if they were, there's no way that they would allow their son to dress up like a woman and then not come out and say, we are absolutely against that. We do not support that at all. You can't tell them what to do, but you can tell people what you approve of and what you don't. And then, I'm finding that there's this, materialism now. Oh my God, it's insane. The brothers who are supposed to be representing consciousness and representing a higher understanding for our people want to be rappers. They want to be rappers. So now materialism is all we talking about. We think that using the same thing that rappers use to gravitate our people towards the knowledge is what's going to work. No, we're supposed to be leading our people away from this world. What's a Bentley to a God? I'm going to ask that again. What is a Bentley to a God?
Jesus.
What is Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Chanel to Imhotep?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What are Jimmy Choo shoes to Pharaoh Hatshepsut? And then we come back and say, well, the ancient Kemites, and Nubians and, all of these great, they had gold and they had it, they shipped all this gold and they did all of these great, explorations where they took, down to the land of Punt, they took all of these hundreds of tons of gold and, they had gold on the wall. That's because it was nothing. It's like grass growing from the ground. That's not what they venerated. That's not what they celebrated. If you study the Netters, if you study the Medu Netter, if you study the concepts of the ancient concepts of God and spirituality and nature, that's what they edified. They were showing us how they lived. That was a part of everyday life. They didn't worship gold. They didn't worship tennis shoes and bling. So I'm seeing this thing now where we're using materialism to gravitate our people towards, a quality of life, quote unquote. Well, then you know better than, what do you have to say about the dudes in Chicago that are killing each other for tennis shoes, for Jordans? And how do you differ from that? And how are you cultivating a spirit and an energy in these young brothers where they understand that the power is not in the tennis shoe? Once your mind is right, you can have any type of tennis shoe you want. You can create your own shoe. You can create your own shoe. Why can't we cultivate a spirit in our children where they become creators and not consumers? We are absolutely leading them right back into the trap that is destroying them in the first place.
Teach. Wow. You know what? Somebody's actually messaged over here. They've literally traded in the chains for chains.
Exactly.
That's crazy. You know, I have to give a big shout out to Nicole Journal on YouTube, or Nicole Bristol, I believe, on Facebook. She's actually volunteering on the 18th of this month to go Kenya. So salute to you, Queen. She's
right on.
Yeah, she's doing great things. Thank you for supporting us at Titans TV, and in return, of course, we're definitely going to support you as well. Who else we've got here? We've got a question from Diana Perez. Peace, Zaza. Please discuss what you do to get your spirit and mind right. For those listening, advice on fasting and approach to fasting and benefits you experience, please.
Great question, sis, and that's an excellent question. And let me just say, I know I have a reputation among some people of being, people think I'm arrogant, people think I'm too abrasive, all of these different things, but I can't stress to people enough, and this is something that I'm sharing more with people publicly because I'm a very private person. I really, I'm really private. I really am an introvert and very kind of, you know, the one who would be away from the crowd. But I'm starting to open up more and share my own personal experiences. I'm very focused right now on being a better person. Like in every single thing, every single facet and element of my life, being a better mother, being a better friend, being a better sister, being a better servant to our people. So everything that you see me do, even if you don't necessarily agree with everything that I say, know that it is coming from a place of love and of servitude. So I do a 3-day fast every month, and this was prescribed by Elijah Muhammad. A 3-day fast every month at the beginning of the month. No food from Thursday night till Sunday night. So it's a full 3-day fast. I only do tea and water. And man, the last fast that I did, it was so beautiful. Like, you know, I'm not, there's no secret. I tell people I used to smoke weed, you know, when I was young. The high that you get from fasting is like nothing else you will ever experience in your life. You have to be in the right place mentally and spiritually. Otherwise, if you're angry and bitter and you fast, you know, you're going to be angry and bitter times 100. You know what I mean? So whatever it is, whatever your spirit and your mood is, it is going to magnify. So this past month when I did my fast, I mean, I just felt so in tune and so in touch with everything, with the universe, and you know where I was in my mind and in my spirit. So I say fasting, definitely watching your diet. It's like, you know, how can you teach our people about you know, elevating themselves if you can't stop eating pork? Like there's some basic things, some basic fundamental things that we have to start doing, being accountable for ourselves. Soda, chips, you know, and not all chips, you know, of course there's good chips, but doing the research and the knowledge behind the chips, the snacks that you eat, the cookies, the fried foods, you know, the white rice, anything white ain't right. Basic mathematics, you know what I mean? Studying, you know, genetically modified food, and just like really becoming researchers as far as what we put into our bodies, because we keep talking about Kemet and all of these ancient civilizations. Them brothers and sisters weren't eating the type of diet that we have. There was no chemtrails in genetically modified food. So fasting, eating a proper diet, water intake. We have to drink water consistently. Water. Like I can't, you think that this is common sense, but no, a lot of people don't drink water. And then they don't make their children drink water. And then you come across children that's like, I don't like water. What? You know, so making it cool to drink water, making it cool to, you know, talk about these things. Everybody should know that fluoridated toothpaste is not good for you. Everybody should know that, you know, deodorant with aluminum, you have to buy natural organic deodorant. You have to make sure that you're not using Secret and Dove and, you know, these popular men's deodorants that have aluminum in them, because it's directly connected to breast cancer for men and women. You know, don't drink tap water. You look at the situation in Flint, and now we have cities all across the country now where it's saying they have high levels of lead. Well, I talked about that in my book 1. We've been knowing that they have high levels of lead. In Chicago, the levels are astounding, and the rates of violence are astounding. They're all connected, you know. St. Louis, I was telling the sister I was talking to earlier that when I went to St. Louis, I was like, there is something really off about the people here. The energy, you know, when you talk to them, that connection that you think you have, there's something really off about the people. And then I remembered that Monsanto is there, and I was like, wow. So that means that the air and the water and the soil in St. Louis is like major contaminated. And the only way that the people can undo that damage in that area, as well as Flint, they got to get away. They have to leave. If you live in Flint or you live in St. Louis or one of these areas that has been highly infected with these poisons, the only way that you are going to be able to reverse that damage is to leave. Go to another section of the country, preferably somewhere that is naturally inclined. Totally change your diet. You know, we could talk about bentonite clay, chlorella, spirulina, chlorophyll, you know, cilantro. These are all things that you can use in order to pull those metal toxins out of your body, all of which I talk about in my book 1, and I talk about constantly on my Facebook page. But, you know, fasting is another method of detoxing all of that poison out of you, resting your brain and getting spiritually and emotionally back in tune with yourself? Great question.
Definitely, definitely. And my favorite as well is actually meditation and going for my early morning walks. If you want to
Absolutely.
know about me, that's that's the time I actually get to just reflect and touch bases with the ancestors. All right. You know what? You know, we're literally reaching the end of the show right now. We're reaching the end of the show. I am gonna get the last questions in for all our any panel members as well that would like to actually ask any questions. Please let me know. Just let me know. Kind of flash on and off, or just type something so I know you would like to ask a question. But yeah, we've got literally over 200 viewers with us right now. Please share this link. Share this link. When it's finished, share this link. Let your friends know that Zaza Ali was on Talk with the Titans and dropping some bombs indeed. Literally from commercialization of consciousness to the black and the black woman, the females and males relationships, etc. Why our children hate us. So yeah, please share this link with everybody. Let them know what the sister was going in, and she was going in on the detractors as well, which is good. And you know what? I still haven't even got her riled up right about now. So what? We got two. We got two questions.
Don't poke the bear. I'm telling you.
Yes, we've got two questions here. Kalam, ask her how she feels about polite. Okay, that's the right question. Or should black people share the same ideology, and what goals should our people obtain to help build a nation? Okay. So all right. Let me see. Which question should I ask you? Out of those two questions, you know what? But you say there is actually a debate coming. This is perfect. I have to actually ask this question. You know what? There's a debate coming up with Brother Polite and Tommy Sotomayor in August. I believe it's August the 28th. And you can go and purchase your tickets on 2012 stores. And I believe it tells you it's August the 28th on there, which is the last Sunday of August, which is Carnival for us in the UK. So the question is, what do you actually think about the debate that's going on with Tommy Sotomayor and Brother Polite?
I don't think anything about it.
Sorry?
I don't think anything about it.
Okay. Those ways there. So according to the flyer, they're actually putting the black woman on trial. And I'm going to take that response as you don't think anything about it. So I'm going to keep that away. I'm going to push that to the side, yeah? Can we push that to the side? There we go. Great. I'm going to poke that bear, I'm going to poke that bear.
If you're listening to what I said throughout the interview, then you'll already know what I think about it.
I know.
That was laughing, and that's my naked butt.
Okay, go. You're making bottom flag it out. Oh gosh, that guy. All right.
I don't care nothing about what you got going on. Children always come first. Always.
Hey, trust me. So the question I'm going to ask you here is actually, should black people share the same ideology, and what goals should our people obtain to help build a nation? And I believe that's coming from the brother Ruben.
Should we share the same ideology? No, that's not even human nature to share the same ideology. We've always been a tribal people, so there's always been different, factions and different cultures and different tribes, and and I think it's really it's wasted energy for us to expect that to take place. So Dr. Ma'at coming from an Afrocentric perspective, me coming from the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, and being coming from that perspective, and we have the Hebrew Israelites, we have Moors, we have Muslims, I study all of it. I find our people and the essence of God, or the Creator, whatever you call it, Allah, Yah, Ra, Yahweh, the Netters, the Orishas. I don't argue the semantics of those things, because it's all ours. All of it's ours. Our people have been here for hundreds of millions of years. You know what I mean? So why would we in 2016 find ourselves arguing over semantics about ideologies and, religion? Now anti-religion is the new religion. So people want to come and snatch, Christianity and Islam from under our people's feet, but don't have anything to replace it. You got mosques in every city across this country. You want to take Islam from our people, but you don't have any organizations where they can go to, where they can seek refuge at. So, in some of the most prominent examples of you know, grace and dignity have been, you know, I've found amongst like Orthodox Islam Muslims, and you know, I know Jehovah's Witnesses. You know, my family members that's Jehovah's Witnesses that I'll ride with to the death. You know, the only thing I can't get past is white Jesus. If we can get around white Jesus, I can rock with you. As long as your heart and your spirit is in the right place, whether you're into Buddhism, whether you are into, you know, the ancient mystery systems of Kemet, whether you are just focused on history, whether you are, you know, whatever it is, as long as your heart is right, that is the thing that I think is the most important thing. And the second aspect of the question, remind me what it was, brother? Your mic is muted.
Should black people share the same ideology, and what goals should our people obtain to help build a nation?
While everybody has to qualify themselves for a position. Like, we want this big explosion, you know what I mean, to happen where the revolution is just gonna set off and it's gonna go down. That's not how it works. I'm qualifying myself. I'm a writer. I have a year and a half left to go for my degree in urban design and development. I'm a teacher for young people. I have probably like 7 different things that I can bring to the table, that I can get on the ground and get my hands dirty when it comes down to it. You know, we say, well, let's go back to Africa, or let's go to the Caribbean, or let's go to Brazil. What are we going to do when we get there? We're going to hire white people to build houses for us? So where's the carpenters? Where's the electricians? Where's the plumbers? Where's the women who can sew? Where's the men who can sew? Where are the brothers and sisters who can create clothing? We need socks. We need T-shirts. We need underwear. We need cultural accessories. You know, we need printers. We need computers. We need laptops. Find your area, your niche, and don't go out and become a computer programmer for the people. Find that thing that is particular to you, that you can master, that you love, that feeds your spirit, your soul work, and then use that to contribute to the people. That way we don't have unhappy, bitter people who are working and slaving for the people who aren't fulfilled. No, by you fulfilling yourself, you'll contribute and fulfill the people. So find your thing that you can master, fine tune it, and then find a way to wedge that into the larger agenda of building a civilization.
Definitely. All right. I'm going to open up Wadi Akhtab. Wadi, go ahead.
Hey, peace, everybody.
Peace.
It's been a good show so far. No, this mic is kind of loud. I have a couple quick questions for you, Zaza Ali, and we've been watching you a few times. You've had a lot of good information, you and Professor Griff, so I'm really thankful that you guys are still continuing to do what you do. So the first thing I wanted to ask, pretty much, when it comes to dealing with like what we consider to be coons, or the Hotep Negroes, people on this level, the Stacey Dashes of the world, would you say that all black men and women are equally valuable in some aspect, and some of us just need to grow more, or should some just simply be discarded at the moment until most of us can come together and they can catch up somewhere along the line? And the other thing I would like to ask is, when it comes to dealing with places like Flint and other places like that, Ferguson, some people just don't have the resources to pick up and move. So what do we do with our poor people? And thirdly, I would like to know, if you got time to get it in, what is revolution? What does revolution look like to Zaza Ali?
Okay, Zaza, your mic is muted at the moment, but literally we've only got about a few minutes, literally a couple minutes left off the show. So if you could try to round it up as fast as possible, that would be excellent.
Okay.
But before you do that, I know a lot of you that would love to get a part 2 with, not even a lot. this is bad to say. I don't even care if anybody else would like a part 2. I know everybody does because there's a lot of comments flooding in with questions. I personally just want a part 2 for my own self. So Zaza, I'm asking you, not even in behalf of the people right about now. Clearly, the people want to hear you and see you speak. Clearly, that's obvious. But I personally would like to have you on Talk with the Titans again.
Absolutely.
And I would love to have you on more regularly.
You have my word. I will come back and we'll do a part 2 because I didn't even get to do the science of self, which to me is my, that's the real thing that I wanted to underscore, especially to close it out. But it's good. We'll come back and we'll do a part 2, and hopefully we'll get to engage more listeners as well. So quickly, you said I have a couple of minutes. Okay, Coons and Hotep Negroes need to be ostracized. Like we have too many. We're fighting too many wars on too many fronts to be coddling people who are contrary to what we're trying to accomplish. That goes for the homosexual community for me as well. We cannot be riding side by side with people who are going to make a contribution, and then once we get to where we're going, they're going to be practicing behavior that is contrary, that is supportive of racism, white supremacy. So ostracized, that they're not equally valuable to me, because what is our goal? Our goal is to destroy the system of racism, white supremacy, to give our people freedom, justice, and equality, and to build a world that is based on justice, not just for our people, but for all people. So how do you do that with people like Stacey Dash? No, she's of no use to me. She just needs to be away from me. Flint, Michigan, and Flint and Ferguson, the people don't have the resources. That's when we come in. That's where we have to be active, particularly, I would say, the people in that area. Because, when you broaden the conversation, it's like, well, we should do this and we should do. We have to start creating conversations where things are actually doable. So the people who are in Michigan right now, and not just them, all of us, but we need to come up with a real plan where we can figure out a budget. We can figure out how much it would cost. Where can they go? Where are their jobs? Where our people can go? How can we set something up for them where they can actually get out of that area? I mean, I said 8,000 children left poisoned by the lead Michigan. What do we have to talk about that's more important than that right now? Lemonade? The black woman on trial? What is revolution to me? There has to be a multi-layered fight. Our people have been going through this for too long. Like, to me, I feel the spirit of Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman and the sisters who threw their babies off of slave ships, and the sisters who got, white men walked up in their cabins and raped them every single night and had to deal with female devils in the house telling them what to do. And I feel the spirit of those women inside of me. So for me, I have a duty. I owe them a debt. I owe them my life. So to me, I'm taking on the intellectual war. I'm taking on the spiritual war. There's going to be a physical war. There already is a physical war. I'm not going to say that because I don't want to put myself in a position where that could come back to haunt me at another time. But there's going to be a physical war. Who's ready for that? Where are the martial arts brothers and sisters that are training our children and training our people? The financial war. Everybody's talking about financial empowerment, right? So, like, that's the only thing. But our people are mentally and spiritually bankrupt. A lot of our people. So what you going to teach? How you going to teach a brother and a sister who doesn't know themselves about money? When they hate themselves, when they hate how they look, how their noses are and their lips and their hair. What can you teach them about money besides getting money? So now money rules them, instead of them being able to rule themselves and then go out and get a career and get money, have jobs and businesses or whatnot. We have to go back to the root of tapping into the God essence of our people. This is how you can tap into the mind of a poor sister, a single mother in Flint, Michigan, who has no hope. If you could give her hope and teach her the science of herself, if she can have access to my voice and she can hear what I'm saying, something will resonate with her. And she'll say, okay, wait a minute, let me find the rest of this sister's videos. Oh, she has a book? Okay, I can't afford it. Let me go get $5 from my auntie and my grandmother, to order the book. Or not my book, whoever's book. Whatever video, we have to use all of our energy, all of our power, everything that we have to wake our people up. They need to know we care.
You know what I mean? So the Revolutionary War, the spiritual war, the emotional war, the scientific war, the physical war, find out which element you fit into and then figure out your niche and then take it over. And I'll leave you with that.
Wow.
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 Okay.
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 The sisters just dropped some powerful information for us. I'm upset that we've literally reached the end of the show. We try our very best not to go over the 2-hour mark. But yeah, a lot of our members are actually saying we need the part 2 right now. We need the part 2 right now. I know we usually do this sometimes. But I don't know. I think we should just hold this. Thank you, Diana Perez. You know, she's become a new subscriber. Of course, for any of you know who've enjoyed the show, and this is maybe your first time actually coming to the show, you may have watched the show several times. Yeah, definitely hit the subscribe button. You will get notifications of any future shows that will be that are actually pending right now, and future shows that will be coming up as well. So please, yeah, hit the subscribe button, become new subscribers, and enjoy as well. We do a lot of interaction. I love interacting with our audience, reading out your questions or your comments, or even getting you on the panel to actually speak with our Titans. Okay, this is literally what Talk with the Titans was built out of, for you to literally talk with the Titans. Okay, it's not just for the Titans to talk, it's for literally for you guys to talk with our Titans. If you haven't already as well, please go visit our About Us page on there, and it gives you some good information about the show, why it was created, and our aims, our objectives, what we're trying to do, how we're trying to build, bridge the gap between the conscious community members and actually the leaders, because we see that there's a big disparity amongst the leaders, actual leaders, and the community members. So we definitely want you, or would like for you to have that interaction with our Titans, and we do want to foster the next generation of Titans. So a lot of times I actually say, this show is not really for people my age and above, is really for the younger generations. Hence I try my very best not to have any profanity within inside of the show, so you can have it within a family environment where you can sit down with your children and actually watch this information. Because a lot of times we try to keep this only for the adults, like it's the only adults that are actually interested in this. No, you should really make this a family occasion, so that the family will actually grow up into this information and not just see you watching this in a vacant place by yourself and just wondering what is this crazy woman or man up to. We don't know. But actually get your children involved. Get your children involved with the show, and with being members of the conscious community, being members of organization, taking part with programs as well. So yeah, I see you lot hit for part 2. yeah, type 2 if you want a part 2. You guys are crazy. I don't know if we can do a part 2 right now, but we're definitely going to try to save a part 2 for a future show. Yeah, sister, please leave us with any closing remarks that you have, and any announcements as well that you may have. Yeah, just unmute your mic and you're there.
We can't do part 2 now because I had to take off my Zaza I hadn't put on, my mother hat, and go get my son from school. And yeah, kind of do the rest of my work. But I just want to thank. I'm definitely down for part 2.
I don't want to cut your wisdom. I just want to quickly do this. Let me just quickly do this, so people don't think it's just me talking. If you can see my screen right now, you can see the number of 2s going on. We've got Diana, we've got Noashu, we've got Amina Loves, we've got R.T. Buckley, we've got Mel P, we've got Paul Jenkins. Listen, the list goes on of how many people are actually wanting a part 2 right now. So definitely we're going to have, as I said, we're going to have the sister on. I already know you don't want the sister on, but me personally, I definitely want the sister on again. So yeah, go ahead. The show's the floor is yours.
We're definitely going to make it happen. Just let me know when you're ready, and I will be here. I just want to say thank you to all the brothers and sisters who sat here and who listened to me. And even if you don't agree with everything that I've said, know that it comes from the best place in my mind and in my heart. I'm just a sister who grew up in Oakland, California, you know what I mean, who saw the transition of greatness of our people into utter despair and chaos. And I have been greatly affected by us, you know, what has happened to us here, as well as the history and the legacy of our people for millions of years. You know what I mean? So I'm standing on the shoulders of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, as well as Afeni Shakur, as well as all of the great warrior queens and scholarly queens and intellectuals that came before me. And we love our people, and we're here to serve. I'm here to serve. So the best way that I can give myself to you is what I'm doing. And I love y'all. And we're going to get through this. And not only are we going to get through this, we're going to come out better on the other side to create the world that is meant for us.
Definitely, definitely. So you know what? You've literally been watching Talk with the Titans. I've been your host, Kalam L, and we're definitely going to see you again, Zaza. I've even got my mom. I actually got my mom on here. She's actually tuned in right now. She's watching. She's literally pressed at number 2. So I know we're gonna have a conversation later on tonight about this show. So yeah, I'm signing off right now. So thank you, people, for actually tuning in, and I will see you again very soon. Tomorrow, actually, we've got Minister Enki on the show, so we'll see you then. At 6 p.m. EST and 11 p.m. GMT, which is UK time. And yeah, so I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Peace.